Is it time for another occult revival? Maybe one that didn't come from Europe this time? Is it time for a new philosophy of magic that fits our modern age? That's for you to decide. But before you do, let me tell you about something called Emergent Magick. Hey folks, I'm James, aka Threscurnus. I'm a scribe for an organization called the Order of Emergent Magi. And for those of you who don't know, I wrote a book, along with my brother Rafael, called Emergent Magick, Rebuilding Our Tribes Through Ritual and Meaning. And this is the first of a series of videos where I'm going to explain what Emergent Magick is, what it isn't, and how we got here. For those of you who are familiar with the book, we're currently working on a second edition, and you're going to see some of those changes in this video series and hopefully see how we made it better. I'm going to start with the foreword to the book, and I know that's kind of weird. I know that a lot of people skip the foreword, but I think it's important. I think it tells people where we're coming from, which has been a point of confusion from time to time. I'm going to start with the first line in the book, which is a quote. It's a quote from the movie Fight Club. And I know Fight Club doesn't age well, but this quote is still very relevant to where we're coming from. It was right in everyone's face. Tyler and I just made it visible. It was on the tip of everyone's tongue. Tyler and I just gave it a name. Tyler being, in this case, Zentrael. So what that quote is saying is, we know this is something that's been going on, and we know it because we've been there. We go to festivals, we attend magical weekends, I have both been members of magical organizations. And these were the things that we saw were going on that nobody was writing about. It seemed like everyone wanted to write a book where you could take it, go into your basement, do these certain things, and become a magician. And I'm not here to say you can't do that. But what I am saying is there's so much more to it when you form a magical community. And I know that's work. I know that's hard. And I also know that the occult community has its problems, but that's just like every community. You know, building relationships is work, but it's valuable work. It's worthwhile work. I know the occult community has its own specific problems with gurus and certain types of exploitation. So we were really mindful when we were writing Emergent Magick of how we can stop that, how we can close the loopholes, remove stuff like grade systems, which has been a method of exploitation for hundreds of years. We also talked in the foreword about who the book was for. Now, if you're not a part of this group, that doesn't mean this book won't be valuable for you. But we saw a need because we were going to these festivals, we were going to Grateful Dead shows, and we were meeting people who were seeking a spiritual experience. They weren't hardcore magicians, but they were open to these ideas and they were seeking something. And we wanted to give them a tool to organize, a tool to build with, a tool to give it more meaning. And that's one of the changes that's coming with the second edition, is we're going to emphasize building a tradition more. You know, there are people who just go out there and do one ritual and do one spell and do things from all over the place. And your practice can be so much more meaningful if you're actually building a tradition. If you're taking something from what was done before and building on that. And this should continue for months, for years, and hopefully for generations. So we're going to have a lot more of that in the second edition. But still, this book is going to be for those people who are looking for a spiritual experience, but don't know where to begin. Now, we also didn't hide the fact that EMK is a spiritual successor of Chaos Magic. Both Zentra and I spent a lot of time in the Chaos Magic community. We considered ourselves Chaos Magicians. We were members of the Illuminants of Thanateros in North America. We owe a debt to that group. We learned a lot from them. But we also think that Emergent Magick is something different. If you just want to call it a different flavor of Chaos Magic, we're fine with that too. And Chaos Magic was great in that it removed tradition. It put tradition as just a tool. And so it made it easier for you to expand upon what you're doing. But we think that tradition's a little bit more important than that. I think it was kind of throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And if you are constantly switching between different paradigms, then you're really going to lose something. You're going to lose depth. And that was something that we wanted to bring back. Well, I know that was short, but I just wanted to cover the foreword here. There's a lot more Emergent Magick to learn. And of course, if you want to hear that, what you need to do is like and subscribe to the channel. I also want to talk about a new way to support this channel. We've signed up for a service called Ko-Fi. Now, Ko-Fi is a donation system, and it's kind of a mix between Patreon and GoFundMe. And in the future, we're going to have monthly subscriptions that are going to include courses and bonus material. But before that, I want to tell you about our upcoming trip to Egypt. The ticket's already bought. It's already a thing that's going to happen. We're going in November. And I really want to take a lot of video there. And I want to present to you Egypt from a magician's perspective. It's from someone who's deep into the Egyptian mythology. So if you want to see that, I'm going to need some extra equipment to do that. Also in Egypt, it requires special licenses and passes to make videos. So we set up this Ko-Fi, and we're starting it out with some donations to make this trip to Egypt something valuable not only for us, but for you. You'll find a link to that in the description. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.